Oh, okay. Is that any better? Can you hear me now? I guess I got to be a little bit smarter than the stuff I'm trying to use. Yeah, okay. Yeah, all right. Well, good morning. Thank you, guys. Yeah, all right. Yeah, good morning, morning. Anyway, I was talking about the latest release here of the Thunder Slot, and that cars like this, I consider your competition level, your more advanced level cars, that you can take them out of the box, but you really need to take the time to go through, double check your set screws, your adjustments. These cars are they just need a little bit more. So, yeah, you can pop them out of the box, throw them on the track, but they really deserve, in my opinion, an extra few minutes of prep. And then you're really going to have a better experience. Morning, Ted. Morning. So, I went through this and I'll show you, try to show you. So, one of the things you need to be aware of on this car is if you get one, is that the set screw for the spur gear right there can be very close to rubbing, and most times it is rubbing, the screw that secures the motor in the chassis. Now, if you go back to my product reviews, you can do a couple of different things. You can just take a file and you can reduce the thickness of the screw. That works. You can add like a 50,000 shim here to bring this out, and that'll work. Also, you can use a shorter set screw in the spur gear itself to make sure it clears. But 9 times out of 10, on 4 or 5 cars that I've had in a row, um, it has rubbed right there, making contact. Then the second thing you want to check is that your pinion here is on far enough so where it doesn't rub on the inside sidewall of the tire. Again, you can shim that out if you want to, or just press the pinion back on. I don't consider that a fault of the cars. The set screw against the motor screw, a little bit, but all it takes is a couple of minutes and you're good to go. And once you do that, um, cars run wonderfully. Now, this is all I've done is that modification, make sure the set screw isn't rubbing, and a little lubrication. Cars are beautiful to drive. And you know, the paint work, Thunderslots does some really good paint work. And I had entertained the thought of adding numbers, doing a little, you know, racing theme. But after the latest event, everyone's feedback, I'm not doing anything. I'm just leaving them in these colors. Just going to leave them the way they are. I think they look pretty good just the way they are. So I don't plan on um, doing anything with it. I don't know. Let me follow the. If a slotted gear puller would work for flywheels on my HO models, I I don't know. That's a good question. I remember the I remember the flywheels on my trains. They were on Athearn, old Athearn brand locomotives that we messed with, but I didn't. I can honestly say I didn't mess much with the flywheels. But yeah, you never know until you try, I guess. Anyway, so the cars like this, you know, we've had this discussion before where these cars cost a little bit more, but really, so about $100 for the Thunderslot Mustang, and you can spend almost 70 on the Electric Mustang, and I don't care what you do to it, aside from maybe a whole new chassis and a whole bunch more money, it's not. It's performance wise, it's not going to equal this. That's if you care about that. If you don't care about the performance and all out speed, then it's fine. But to me, this is still a value. Yeah, it's still a value to me. All the precision parts under here, just all this gear, the advanced, the pod design, just and I don't loosen this up that much, just a little bit. You can see, so it's just a little bit, not a lot, just a little bit there, not too much. And on this one, I haven't added any weight. I just basically left it all stock. You can just see that I'm running the tires there, and I'm still not getting a full contact patch, but they're wearing in. They're just wearing in. Oh, thanks to fingers. Um, so it's they're fun cars. When we had the event, I bet you I had the other two out here, and I had a silver one here. This is the fifth one I've had, and we killed a couple hours racing these. It was just fun to have a IROC type. That's what I purchased them for, was to have just different colors and everybody just rotate and run the cars. And we had a blast with them. So I've been wanting the white and red one, so it justified it, or at least in my head it did. And next up, everyone's well aware of this Porsche. It's back, and it's interesting. The appeal of this car, and I asked Maurizio if it was okay to share this, and I will. I had a conversation with Mr. Ferrari, and one of my questions was, what do you think made this car so popular? I mean, yeah, it looks cool, black and yellow. First of all, I don't think it's the blue jeans. I don't think it's the pants, the sponsor. First of all, the race record it had, obviously pretty impressive. But really, the big appeal for this car um, is Senna. I mean, Ayrton Senna was a part of this team, and that just made it an historic car, let alone its performance, its accomplishments. But now, those that are, aficionados of Group C and the history of this car and that era, you might argue that, I guess. But um, I think the appeal has just been that Senna was on the team. That's what made this car. But anyway, I had to have it. Obviously, a re-release, and I had to have this. There's going to be one. I'm going to give one away to an HRW subscriber. Might just do a little raffle of some sort. I don't know what we're going to do just to give away. Yeah, it is. It's an awesome car. Let me catch up on the text here. Dream weather out. Coffee is a must. Yeah. You got any cars that are fully wide open on that track? No, um I don't have any. I mean, I have some slower classic cars. If I turn the voltage down, I can hold the trigger down, but I don't. Most of the cars that are out here are they have to be driven. There's no full throttle and just holding it. No, non-magnet track. Yeah, the fingers you can. It's a simple track, four by 16. It's just basically what could I create with two 4x8 sheets end on end, and this is the design I came up with, which I wanted slightly challenged, but also very simple for folks to come down and enjoy. This didn't need things overcomplicated. This is an interesting car in its own right. One of the recent releases here in the last couple of months. It's funny how, the car's only been out a few months and it's all old news. You know, I just know that some of my cars, after I tuned them, that I could hold them wide open on my wood track. Oh, not mine. I don't even even a good thunder slot like this. I mean, on my track at 12 volts, it's much too fast. Um, it's not gonna stay on. Just holding the throttle down. I mean, I guess it's good for you if you can, but I don't. I don't do any spray glue. There's no goop. There's no magnets. There's no nothing on my tires. So um, these motors are too fast. 21,000 to 25,000 RPM on a 416 track. It's just I'm not going to be able to hold it wide open. I don't. It doesn't. I want to have control anyway. I don't want to just hold the trigger down and watch it go. Well, going to nationals, commercial track thing. That's entirely different than these cars. Totally different chassis, homes, tires, setups, bodies, everything tracks. So it's entirely different. This is more of a scale racing, 1/32 scale. So it's entirely different than that type of racing. I used to do that and just not not any fun. It became unfun. So it was just time to move on to something more enjoyable. So this Porsche here, we'll talk about this one. This is the 962, and when you look at these cars, so the Newman Porsche um, is so this would be your 1984 mid 80s car, although there are similarities. So this is from 1984, and then this one is from later on in 1991. So similar but different, 962, 956, but a lot of them, everyone races them in the same class. But interesting, Derek Bell, there's a star driver, a lot of people are aware of. That's what makes this car part of the appeal is the driver. So very similar setups. I'm not doing a whole lot here though. So I thought I'd share with you what I did here. Just some simple tuning. Nothing really advanced. Okay. First of all, I did remove the stock compound and I've installed some of the slotted race compound, the G25. So When you do that, when you're messing with some of these rubber tires like this, something that you might want to do that's important for the fitment is um, check the tires. And I'll take a couple of them out here, but check these tires for flash molding. And I don't know if you'll be able to see it as clearly as I want you to, but right inside there's a little flash molding where they pop it out. Yep, lead helps wonderfully. Yep, that's all part of the tuning process to get it where you want it. Throw a little lead at it. I do it all the time. So you can see right there. And that'll cause the tire not to fit on the wheel the way you want. So I just use some clippers, just like that. Some sprue cutters. You can get them at Harbor Freight online. Hey, man. Good morning. How are you? Good to see you. So clean that up a little bit, and now they'll fit on the wheel a lot nicer. I want to show you a piece of this. This is off one of the tires that I just installed on the car. It's pretty good size chunk of stuff there, you know. So that and then the second thing I did was I removed the top caps. Hey, hi, yeah, I told her I said hello. The caps here, I removed those. I removed the actual carriers in the front, and then I add 2 set screws just here, just to get this raised up and set up the right height the way I like it, like a tripod. But these are the pieces that I remove, and I know some people use them, I just don't. One of my main things with the carriers is they can bind the front axle, these holes, they can just add some binding. These are not silicone or urethane, the these are the slotted G25 compound, and they work pretty well. They work pretty well. They can uh, they can add a few crumblies here and there when you get them hot when you're pushing it, but the wear in works pretty good. So anyway, I've just lubricated it and then added those tires, set up the front end. Basically, that's all I did, and then I just run the chassis, and then I just start the tuning process from here. But first is, you just baby steps. You got to start with the basics, and they work really well. So very nice running car. And this goes again to the value that Slotted brings to the table, in my opinion, anyway. Um, the price point around $70 for a Slotted um, is well, it's very good to me. You're getting a whole lot of slot car for that kind of money. The link to the tires. Just yeah, the G25. I think Slicker Corner. Anybody's going to have them. Um, any of the dealers that you have, that your favorite dealers, just ask them for the part numbers there. And yeah, it's a good deal for the car. It's with the price point. I mean, think about the investment. I mean, this electric car is almost the same money, 60 something dollars, and they have zero spares. And if they break, well, you have to hope that you have slotted parts to replace them. Whereas with buying and slotted, it's an investment. You can get spares for days on these. Something goes bad, a gear or something, easy to replace. So I've always, but slotted's always had a tremendous value for the hobby, for the enthusiast. I mean, forever, So um, let me get the body put back on here, and I just wanted to go over my quick, quick little simple mods. Again, nothing major. I'm not rebuilding the cars. I'm not changing the pods. I'm leaving them uh, inline. I like the inline configuration. It's just fine. And beautiful car. Beautiful car. It's really neat to see this car. And Dave, we were talking about the car and the popularity, and I was telling them that I spoke to Mr. Ferrari. I just asked him a few questions, and one of the main ones, really, we were just talking back and forth quickly, was what was it that made this car so popular for everyone? And although it's race history, the results, this and that, um, and the answer was, in his opinion, um, was Ayrton Senna. I mean, that's what really made the appeal. It wasn't the blue jeans. It was all about Senna. Yes, the history of the chassis is impressive too, the aficionados of it. But Senna, in his opinion, and a lot of other people, is why the car is so popular. Yeah. So yeah, it's a wonderful car. It runs great. Um, Stay tuned on the forum, Facebook. I'm going to do just a little giveaway here. Got a couple extras here. Thought I'd share with everybody. But yeah, basically both these cars, this one, um, and I just tuned them the same to get the same performance, same tire compound. I'm just not trying to overcomplicate things. I don't need to. I'm not doing any national competitions or have a bunch of rules. I'm glad I don't. There's a topic on the forum, people banging on their motors with hammers and everything, trying to get another 100 RPM. I'm just very thankful that I don't have to do such things to enjoy the hobby. I mean, I don't think I ever want to do that just to gain 100 RPM. But these cars, the Group C have always, that's why they're so popular, is they're just a great value, and they're super smooth. So to me, dollar for dollar, it's hard for them to be beat. Slotted kind of got it. No, you don't always need to replace parts. That's true until they break. So I have plenty of. I just picked up a Scalextric that I thought was pretty nice. Part of the historics. Um, You got to hand it to them. Presentation, pretty cool. So I had to have one of these. I just like the way they run. Um, so really nice. They just got to massage them a little bit for the wood track. They weren't made to be made for the wood track, non-magnet. So you can't really be too critical. Scalectric or Carrera or any of them, SCX, they weren't designed to be out here. So, oh, it'll run great eventually. I have um, a couple here that I'll share with you. First of all, one of my personal favorites from Scalectric that they did here recently. Nicely done little car. Nice and smooth. Just put some tires on it. Put it in a truer. Trued them up. Look at that. Super smooth. And we don't, here anyway, we don't heavily compete with these cars having any type of official car. We drive them to enjoy them, but we also want them to be smooth and quick. And I tell you, you get side by side with these cars, and it's all the fun you can stand. You know. Yeah, I didn't true any of the fronts. Um, they're right where they right where they were. Here's another one from the latest electric releases, 97. And very nice car. Just some Paul Gage tires, just some truing on the rear axle, and it's pretty smooth. Tires need to be cleaned. Gee whiz. Just a little sponge with some Windex. You know. Here, let me keep up with my comments here. I don't have my other. Yes. Oh, hey George, how you doing, man? Look at man, you know you're somebody when you got celebrities like George and Dave and man, the fingers. Wow, everybody, all the who's who showing up this morning. So just a little bit of cleanup, and nicely done. It's one of the things I like about urethane tires. People have asked questions about the differences and stuff, and absolutely no doubt there's a big difference between the natural rubber, the G25 compounds, the NSR compounds, rubber, and the urethane. But one thing I like about urethane is no muss, no fuss. I can install a good urethane on here. I can take it over to the tire truer, and within about 5-6 minutes, I can have them trued. I don't have to go low and slow. It doesn't take me 30-45 minutes with all this alchemy just to get a true tire that'll come out here for me to just enjoy. So I'm not in an environment where I have to work, so much and so hard to get a pair of tires to perform. I'm just out here having fun. So it's not that I don't appreciate a good compound tire like the G25s or the NSRs, but in the cases of these cars, I'm not heavily competing these electric cars. These are just simple home racing fun, so I don't have to Yes, fun. Right? It's yeah. I mean, that's the whole point. Just having a little bit of fun. So these cars are just, Electric when they want to can really put some nice effort, put some great fit and finish on these cars. And I've been collecting what you might call the legends, these classic Grand Prix Formula One cars, since, well, 10 plus years, I think now that they've been releasing some of these cars, all all different eras. I think it's one of the most appealing. I think it's one of the most appealing lines that Hornby Electric has done next to our Trans Am series. I think it's one of the nicer ones. I like I said, the different eras of cars. Um, they're just interesting to me. Um, and again, they don't take. This is not a whole lot of tuning. I took the motor out and put in a milder 18K motor, Predator little 18K, Paul gauge tires, and I replaced the guide here. I just went with a Slotting Plus Universal, as you can see, with some tin copper braid. So just a little bit of tuning to get this one where I wanted it, but um, I like it this way. I like the feel of the 18K is much milder and better suited for these little cars, especially non-magnet form, but nice and smooth. I've only had one wheel set out of all of these cars. Over the years, I've had one wheel with a crack and a break, and I've replaced it with aluminum. But most of them, then again, just remember, I'm not driving these things at light speed very hard. So we try to take care of them to the best of our ability. But again, these Paul gauge tires, the urethanes, just they're better than the stock rubber. They last longer than a stock rubber, and very, very easy to true. So they work well enough for what we're doing. Uh, yeah, I like these little cars. Again, now George will tell you there or whatever, and yeah, you get three wide out here, and it's a hoot. Yeah. So speaking of that, see then again we go to Polycar. It's the new release here, and again better quality components, good spares availability. It's a great series to invest in. I like them. So I had to get the new one. Well, here we go. This is a good test. Here, we'll just we'll yeah. Let's open it up. There we go. We'll just see how it goes. As a lot of you seen in the Facebook group and the video that I've done already in the review, that this car needs a little bit of tuning here and there. Make things ideal, make them perfect, but that is what they're designed to be, is tuned. So let's open this up. Let's so fresh out of the box, right? Right. Okay. There we have it. There we go. So check everything. Seems okay to me. Braid. So we know we have some adjustments to do, you know. So let's just see. Right out of the box. Make sure the tires are on here nice. And by the way, I like this stock rubber on these cars. They're not bad. And look at that. Yeah. Front axle needs some adjustment there, but look at that. There it goes. Yeah. Wow. Beauty, huh? Beauty of a car. Won't take very much. Well, yeah, the pod is tight. Yes, I just took it out of the case. I haven't had time to do anything. Gonna loosen it up. Front axle here, as you can see, as we put on in my video, the tuning video, and John Albright on the Facebook group. It needs some work here. You can tell it's binding up just a little bit there, and we discuss how to remove some material, reroute the wires, clean these edges on the inside right here. This part here, there's usually some flash molding here and here that rubs on the inside of the wheel. That doesn't help matters. But I covered all this in the first BRM tuning article, and so did John Albright on the Facebook group, you know. So check that out. But yeah, I could hear that. See, you can just, there's some flash molding there. It's hanging up on that. That's okay though. Still works. Let's give it a loosen up, see what it does. I usually don't use that screw in the back. I just usually can take it out and then remove some material around the pod to really free it up. But that's not bad. Let me get the flat tip and we'll adjust this out just a little bit better. Yeah, let me see, what kind of mess can I make here? All right, we'll make a good one, I think. There we go. Oh yeah, much better. So getting that loosened up there. Oh yeah. Now we have a little bit of float. A little better. Let's clean these stock tires up. When these tires are clean and warmed up, as George knows, they're not bad. Look at there. And the front axle isn't even spinning freely and it's running this good. Imagine what's going to happen when we address that issue, huh? This is the part where you're not unhappy with your investment. This is why, I mean, since the first release, the Power cars have been so popular. Is just that right there. That kind of performance right out of the box. I mean, if you're the fan of the genre of the series, this era, you got to hand it to them. Maurizio and the entire team, just need to be applauded for their efforts. You know, you see a lot of complaints, a lot of people that no matter what, they'll find something to nitpick. It's one of the most challenging things is to create a scale model slot car that will appeal to most. You're never going to make everyone happy. Um, they're going to count the rivets, some of them. They're going to do this. But really, when the car is at speed, the old 3-foot rule, you know, I think it's fine. I don't I don't need to change helmet decals unless it bothers you. I mean, the markings on the engine, if they're not the correct chrome instead of silver, that doesn't bother me. If it bothers you, then well, you'll have to do some extra work. But for what I enjoy them for, just this right here, to watch them and be side by side with some folks and having some grins and some fun, it's all good to me. Yeah, yeah, there we go. So not bad, eh? It is. It is a lot of work. I don't. We can. There's nothing. There's no such thing as perfect. We'll go to this right here. I mean, we'll go to back to this car. We all know. Don't take a caliper to this thing. Just don't do it. Because if you're looking for 100% accuracy, you're not going to find it here. Um, that's not to say it's that bad. To some people, it is. They are Mustang enthusiasts. They see this and they just don't care for it. And I don't. I'm not blaming them. I'm just saying that it isn't bad enough that it bothers me. Um, I know what it is. I know what they were designed to be. So when you look at some of the Group 12, Group 7, some of your commercial cars, they look like nothing. They're just door stops and they don't care. What are they there for? They want speed, complete, all out, balls out, mind blowing speed. They could care less if the fuel filler cap is the wrong scale. So it's all personal preference. I still like the cars. But yeah, it's nice taking the poly car out just like that and having some fun with it without doing anything. That's uh, that's fun. I'll get a new screw in here. I seem to have lost. There it is. Seem to have lost the screw off of the one slotted here. Get it put back together again. We have the tools and technology. Well, we have parts. I don't know about you guys, but if anybody can drop us and a screw and lose it forever, no matter what we do, it's me. I'm perfect at it. Yeah, that's especially if it's a one-off screw. That's a specialty one. That'll be the one I lose first. You know. There we go. All right, now we got it back together again. There we go. So here we go. And runs great. What a sight. The tires, it has a little bit of chatter. These tires, like I said, G25 compound, they get a lot of grip. I'm just cleaning them with a little bit of Windex. They're not clumping up. So they're not clumping up yet. Uh, yeah, yeah, they are wide and low in general. Yeah, that's the Can-Am cars are the same. The McLarens, the thing that they're like I said, don't take a caliper to them because they are wider. But you have to hand it to them. First of all, they look wonderful and they run great. Here we go. Now that chatter, there's a little bit of chatter there. We'll get a little lead weight here. I haven't chewed the front tires yet, but that grip, that rubber, it can cause a little bit. And as we chew the tires and break them in, the smoother it'll get. I have cars that have hundreds of laps on them, and that break-in process, you just can't put a price tag on it. But as it is right now, very nice car. And I won't add too much more to it. You just have to do the fronts. I can tell right there. Yep, just there you go. See, it's usually something simple. Right, so right there, just a little bit out of around. So I'll get the fronts over there in the truer, true the fronts up. You could throw some zero grip on there, but I don't. I can make zero grips out of this pretty easy. But yeah, it's just right there. So just a little bit of chatter up front. It's okay. Yeah, nice car. I don't get a chance to race all the slot. Oh, somebody asked. Yes, I did change the guide. This is the slot invasion guide. I did the modification, and I was just testing it out here in the wood track. I do like the blade thickness is better suited for routed track. So the thickness of the blade itself really works. And then I went to the softer braid. I didn't use the tin copper. So you don't have to replace the guide. It's all about doing your own tuning and testing what works from your what works for me, what works for me out here, and what I do is not necessarily what you should have to do or would want to do. You know, just like this. Well, I like the wider blade. It reduces that side to side, the car slapping in and out when you go to the corners. So you won't be able to tell there. Yeah, you can tell a little bit. So it just feels better when it's going through the corners. It's not kicking back that power, slapping back and forth. So the blade thickness um, is improved over the stock. However, there's nothing wrong with the stock guide. It works. And this guide being thicker and maybe longer would may not fit on your track if you have very tight radius corners. It might hang up. Very tight radius corners. It'd be better for plastic track or the copper. You know, it's really the tin copper or stiffer braid. Some people like that setup as they hold their shape better. Some people prefer the soft. Tin copper is just a bit more durable. It's going to last you a little bit longer time. Um, it's more about getting your right height set up and everything, but either or is going to perform for you. Um, just give it a test. But there's tin copper would work fine on plastic on Carrera on plastic track. I used it for many years on the Carrera. So some people just like a softer braid. just doing different testing. Sometimes, like on cars like this that are delicate, that are very light, that you can't get a lot of weight under, uh, the standard braid, the softer braid, just easier to conform and easier to get it to lay down. So it always depends. Yeah, always depends on the car. Um, but going back to this, so just because I put this in here, that doesn't mean that it's going to be the ideal setup for your track. If you have really tight radius corners and everything else, and the guide blade might be too long, you would have to trim it. It'll it'll hang up in the corners. I just don't have that issue, so it works for me. So it's an improvement for my environment, but that doesn't mean it will be for yours. And I mean, for some people, the stock motor is not enough, and they want twice the RPM, while others even take this down to a milder 18K just for to tame them down, depending on their personal preference, how they do things. We just leave them in here. Well, I do have a couple with some of the Predator 18Ks just for testing, and they run great. You have all three of them out there, like, you know, same motor. It's all cars. Car's nice. We'll get this one sorted. We'll get some truing on it. We'll take care of that. Yeah, just that little front end there. Still though, gripping really well. And the tires, the the tires are all, again, your own testing. The tires are all, again. I mean, I can, if you want, if you guys want, I'll take you over here and show you this mess. So we'll just go over here real quick. George is probably cringing right now, going, "Oh, you're not going to show him that, are you?" No. Yeah, just real quick, we'll go over here. Okay, so this is just the slight um, so the different tires, when a car comes in, I try to test different compounds, different brands. I'm not trying to say that any one is better than the other. It's up to you how you like your car. Some people love silicone, and these work great. I could slip those on one of the cars out there right now. Works fine. Well, does silicone do a bunch of harm to, not to my track, because I don't leave them on there long enough for them to do any harm. I go right behind them with natural rubber. So whatever rubber they clean off, I put them back. I'm just testing. But some people specifically run silicone and they love it. Some people, Paul Gage, urethanes, whatever brand that they use, you know, um, Thunderslot compound. Here's a popular compound, Sideways. They make some great tires, really good compounds. And then Slot It. Everybody talks a lot about NSR and everything, but Sideways and Slot It make some great tires. They're easily cleaned up. Good natural rubber. But this is what I'll do when a new car comes in, and I'll test, and then I'll give a couple of numbers, recommendations, and then you have to figure it out and do your own testing. What's the best tire for my track? I don't know what the best tire for your track is. You'll find out. You know, If it's that mission critical, $7, $8 a pair of tires, just experiment, try them yourself. That's part of the fun. Is tuning, finding out on your own. What's the parts store? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I just ran out of room, so I ran out of room, and I created this little pegboard system. I can move it around, and I can store parts. You know, so this is just part of the part storage. For me. And then, but like I said, that the tires, it's all up to you. You use the tire selectors, and you find out your own what you like the best. I mean, if you're running, standard Carreras, stock Carreras on a Carrera track, you know, some Paul Gauge urethanes are awesome. Um, I like the Paul Gauge, the urethane with the Carreras, because none of their wheels are particularly that round, and they're all different sizes. Paul Gauge is easy to sand, and they're better. They perform better to me than the stock Carrera rubber. See, I'm not getting paid to say Carrera rubber is the greatest, because it's not. It's Paul Gauge urethanes for years have always been the go-to improvement, but some silicones work great on them too. But anyway, yeah, that's just part of the testing that I do. So when I say, hey, this Quick Slicks tire or this Paul Gauge tire or whatever, I'm just giving you my and coffee. I'm just giving you options, choices for you. I'll test them out here on the track. If they work, then they work, right? So just like right now, the Slavic compound. That's what's on this car, as we talked about, and it works. Um, the performance is up to you. If you like that. Um, the stock tires here on this little Polo car. I mean, if I had two more out here and we just had the C1 basic compound, we cleaned up. Well, as you can see, they're working. Could I improve the traction? Well, of course, but they're working. They're fine. They're round. Oh, there we go. And then finally, you go to your thing, and they work as well. So, like the fingers said, it's just car to car to car. Anyway, I don't want to carry on too much. Have some coffee, and hope you guys are having a great one out there. Yeah, the NSR worked better for the time being. I'm plastic, didn't have a truck. Yep. Whatever works for you. Whatever gives you the performance you want, not what anybody else tells you, but what you want. And I think sometimes we get lost listening to product reviews, and I'm guilty of it too. We get lost, That's why I try to list the different blends: silicone, urethane, stock rubber, aftermarket rubber, to give a few options, to give a few part numbers. But then you, at the end of the day, you have to decide, hey, this works, or man, this sucks, entirely up to you. So, all right, guys, well, have yourself a good one. I'm going to head up to our fall festival. They're having a parade and a car show. I love car shows. So expect some photos, some photo bombs coming here later. Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you, Ragtop Pat, the fingers. Thanks everybody for showing up, and we will definitely See you guys online. Really appreciate it.